Hey, welcome back, you YouTube fans. This is Tycandrous doing another action figure review, and today we are having a look at an older figure, but it is still a really cool figure, and it is one of the only Space Wolf figures I have. He just arrived literally today at the time of this recording, but I hadn't really intended in collecting any of the Space Wolves, but because this guy is a named character, I picked him up. He is Ragnar Blackmane, aka the leader of the Space Wolf chapter, or I think he's still the current leader of Space Wolf chapter. He could have been changed around. Now, I believe this guy, we'll have a quick look at his box in a minute, but I believe this is the first figure that they did of a named character. So they've done a good few now since this guy got released. So you have Marneus Calgar, you have Chief Librarian Tigerius, Mephiston from Blood Angels, who else is there? Helbrick from the Black Templars, the Emperor's Champion, both versions of the Emperor's Champion, who I believe one of them is a named character, the other one is just kind of nameless. I know I'm forgetting probably other ones. There's like the was it Robert Gilman, the Primarch. He's like way bigger than a normal Space Marine, but they have started doing like Primarchs. Leon Johnson is on the way. Azrael is also coming for Dark Angels. They're not, as far as I know, they're not released yet. They are coming soon. And is there anyone else? Oh, there's that jetpack guy, Shrike, whatever his name is, Captain Shrike. The was it Ravenguard? Not Ravenguard. The guys, the emo guys, which I can never remember the bloody chapter name of. They're more of a, I think they've been around for a while, but they're more of a newer chapter, kind of like Salamanders. Actually, and there is a Salamanders named character, which I can't remember the name. Is it Voltar? Volt something? Anyway, this guy, I believe, was the first of the kind of character models. Like, they had done Space Marine captains, they were more generic captains. This guy is a named character within the 40k lore, and I believe he was one of the first ones. So he comes in the older style boxes, which was just the all black packaging. This was later replaced. I can get Elbert's box here. It was later replaced with this newer style box with the white border and the more familiar Emperor's Throne depiction in the corner. But this is the way they did them originally. And basically, it's just a fairly plain box with legalese stuff on either side, the 40k logo on either side, and then an image of what you get in the box. So you have contains one 12.4 centimeter collector's action figure and accessories. He's fairly light on the accessory count, in the sense that unlike some of the later ones, he doesn't have two alternate heads. He has just the unmasked helmet. He doesn't have a Space Wolf helmet that's designed specifically for him. They kind of, it's a bit wishy-washy. They kind of did it with some figures, and they didn't do it with all figures. So, for example, the Chief Librarian Tigerius figure only comes with the unhelmeted head. He doesn't come with a Librarian helmet. Whereas Marneus Calgar, who I did do a review of, I believe, came with an alternate head. He comes with a helmeted head, which is something the miniature never had. And I think maybe the newer version of the miniature did have, but his old original counterpart, which is this guy. This is 2nd edition Marneus Calgar with his Gauntlets of Ultramar. He never had a helmeted version. But that's beside the point. So this guy is holding some of his accessories at Kelm loose. Notably, is it Frostfang or something along those lines it's called? He has a named, yes, it even says it in runes on the side of the chainsword. If I look the right way, which is this way, you can see the name of it is Frostfang. And that is his named special, I think a whatchamacallit weapon. It's like a artifact kind of thing, an ancient artifact weapon that he has. His pistol is kind of just a standard generic pistol, just with a purity seal on it. It's kind of same mold that he normally comes with, but it is the newer style bolt pistol, I believe, or bolt gun pistol. And his cloak here is a separate part in the packaging, and his backpack is loose, or not loose, but it is a separate part in the packaging. So there is a cutout. If I can take off the backpack without everything falling off him, there is a nice cutout for this cloak, which is nice because one of the other figures I will be getting around to reviewing, which is the Chief Librarian Tigerius model or figure, his one doesn't actually have a cutout for his backpack, which is kind of annoying, but we'll get into that in a minute in a later video. So he does come with a that's not his. He comes with two sets of hands, so he has a left and right kind of clawed out hand is probably the best way, or outstretched finger hand. Comes with left and right ones of those, and then he comes with a alternate pistol grip hand, which is for his left hand. His left hand default out of the box came with the grip hand, so you can put Frostfang in his hand, and then you have the alternate pistol grip hand if you want to give him his bolt pistol. On the box depiction, it does show him with his more outstretched kind of claw hand, where it's he's kind of has it up to his face, but he is pretty cool. He is fairly extensively detailed for a character model, which is exactly how the character miniatures are depicted. So he has a really nice head sculpt with his big mane of hair, and he is in a kind of roaring look. Let's see if we can get his head up a bit close to the camera. And you can see he has the canine teeth that the Space Wolves are known for, which is one of their trademarks. He has the more traditional Space Wolf backpack compared to, if I can dig out one of the regular guys. Where is he? They're all underneath stuff. Great. Bear with me a moment. Let me move some things around. And hopefully things don't go flying off all over the place. Bring in Mr. Bog Standard Space Marine here. Well, he's a basic Space Marine. You can see the difference in the backpacks. You can see it's still the same base sculpt, but these, where the exhausts on the sides has been replaced with the wolf heads, which is quite nicely done. He has the big cloak, the wolf pelt cloak, which has a matching kind of severed wolf head piece. I believe it's all supposed to be part of the same cloak, but they did it in such a way that it doesn't get in the way of the articulation too much. It still does get in the way of the articulation, but it is what it is. So for his left hand, he has fairly full range of articulation because it is not hindered by a big giant wolf head. If I can get it to rotate all the way around, he does have the double jointed elbows. He has the swivels. He has the wrist peg. He does have waist swivel. He has a lower waist swivel, which is really hard to get to because of all the pouches on him. He does have the standard kick forward in the legs and knees, double jointed knees. He still has the little boot cut piece and the rocker ankles. He does have the peg holes on the base. Again, his right arm is going to be slightly hindered because of the cloak part, but he still retains the double jointed arm. Again, you can see his wrist likes to pop off on his right hand side. His Frostfang is designed so it can be held in two hands, but getting him into a two-handed pose is going to be very tricky. He does have that earlier shoulder pop thing where it pops out just at the joint. I'm not sure if you see that on screen, but it does pop out. He is I believe he is one of the first of the 2.0 figures. So instead of the shoulders, their shoulder pads being on the, in fact, I can show it on this guy because his shoulder pad is consistently falling off. This is the Librarian, the early Space Marine Librarian. You can see there's a peg hole at the top of where the shoulder is, and on the earlier ones that was part of where the shoulder pad would go onto the figure, whereas they replaced that with this newer system. So you have a separate kind of rubbery style O-ring thing which attaches onto the shoulder pad and makes it a bit more easier to manipulate and easier to control. So this guy does stand taller than a regular Marine. As you can see, he is supposed to be a character model and a commander. So the regular Marines, if I remember correctly, come in around 11, yeah, just around the 11 centimeters, or just under 4.5 inches. Whereas this guy, not including the big giant plume on his head, just to the base of where his hair would start, is about 5. And then up to, he goes all the way up to nearly 6 inches with his hair plume. And then because of Frostfang being so massive, if you have it in his hand, it takes up quite a lot of space. It goes up to 7.5. Frostfang itself is nearly 5.5. Yeah, nearly 5 inches, which is nearly the height of a regular Space Marine. So his chainsword is a massive looking thing. Overall, he is a really cool figure. He is adorned with the kind of Space Wolf runes. So you have them on his legs, on the shoulder, or the guards on his wrists, their gauntlets. He has a couple embedded in the shoulder pad, which is kind of hard to see. I think it's like, I think it says or for Ragnar, and then there's a arrow one. There's nothing on this one because it is essentially, there is a shoulder pad under it, but it is essentially a wolf head stuck onto a giant shoulder pad. He does have a couple of wolf pelts as well, the tails and pouches. They're kind of hard to see. He does have a holster, non-working holster for his pistol. It is a shame that they didn't give you, I think this might have been just before they started doing the double holsters, where you had one holster that was empty and one holster that had a handle in it, so it could represent them having the gun. So, but he should hold his gun fairly reasonable. Now, his hands are the newer ones, so they're a little bit tight, but he should be able to hold his pistol no bother. So you have a pistol and chainsword look for him as well, and the cape is kind of, there's no wire or anything in the cape, so it is set in the position that it is in. It's one of the nicer capes that I've seen on any of the figures. Guys like that Liberian and Tigerius, their capes kind of get in their way a bit, whereas this one, because it's just sitting on his back, it doesn't tend to get in his way too much. Overall, he's a really cool figure. He's a bit older now, so I'm not sure how availability goes for this guy. You probably will have to go third market for him. I picked this guy up from a local seller who was selling a bunch of 40k Joytoy stuff, so I picked him up and a bunch of extra Black Templars to fill out some gaps that I hadn't filled. But overall, he is a really cool figure. If you're a fan of Space Wolves, I do recommend grabbing him. If you're just a fan of character models from 40k, he is also a really good choice as well, because if you have Marneus, Marneus, Helbrick, and any of the other kind of big names do look quite nice together on a shelf. If you're just going for character models, you know, character only, and not bothering with any of the troopers, they do look quite good together. So all in all, not a bad figure. He has some limitations on the articulation because of the way he's designed, but that's more due to his design as opposed to how the figure is constructed. The figure is constructed the same way as nearly all the other base figures are, is just you're going to have differences because of gear that's on them. So overall, he isn't too bad. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this figure review for the Ragnar Blackmane. He is a Primaris version of Ragnar Blackmane as opposed to the original Firstborn version. So he's in the Primaris armor as opposed to the regular power armor of the older model, but that Primaris armor was redesigned to look like his older counterpart anyway, so it is pretty cool. So all in all, good figure, and I do recommend picking them up if you can get one for a reasonable price. And I'm going to wrap this up here, and as I say, I hope you enjoyed this video review, and as always, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you all have a great day. Cheers guys.